2008, Dead Space releases, and is considered one of the best survival horror games ever made. So what happens when you remake it? I'm Ethan Level with Level Up Gaming, and this is Dead Space Remake. From the very moment you arrive on the USG Ishimura, you're plunged into a masterfully crafted and visually stunning world that is aesthetically designed with a grungy atmosphere. Not only is this game a significant graphical improvement over its original, but also for modern survival horror games, it's a feat to behold. From the perfectly lit environments giving you just the right amount of clarity to maintain the sense of dread, to the unkept walls and interior of the haunted mining ship itself, the visuals are not just a pretty map, but a powerful construction to aid the story and world you navigate. Adding to this, the sound design and music are some of the best I've ever heard. Playing this with a good pair of headphones on transported me away as I heard every step, every mechanical part, every scream and far-off groan of my next traumatizing encounter. One of my favorite bits of sound design is the audible sound of Isaac Clarke's heartbeat in moments of tension or when witnessing the strewn about corpses all over the ship. Through my hours of playthrough, I often got his and my heartbeat mixed up, which just drew me closer and closer to the nightmarish experience the developers created. In terms of graphical performance, I played the game on performance mode on PS5 and had next to zero issues. It was a smooth 60 FPS the whole time, with only a couple moments going up and down elevators where I felt like the shaders or certain textures looked off. However, on the quality setting, it did run in a noticeable 30 FPS, which is pretty normal for the setting on PS5, and I did feel a frame drop here or there. In regards to the sound design and atmosphere, I had almost zero complaints, as it was all blended really well and the sound and score mixed perfectly with a truly haunting soundtrack by Trevor Garekis. With not only the added improvements over the original, but also playing this on next-gen software, the gameplay felt truly smooth, despite the player character being clunky and heavy in movement. The way the weapons controlled and fired felt fantastic on the DualSense controller, and coupled with the sound of Isaac moving and the shots hitting the necromorph, dismembering them on impact, it really puts you in the game and in the shoes of Isaac Clarke. The game controls at such a pace to never feel painfully slow or too fast-paced, but just the right speed of movement as you traverse the long corridors and dark rooms of the Ishimura. The fear and dread in this game lends itself greatly to the character movement and gameplay mechanics, as turning isn't always fast, and ammo and health perfectly scarce, making every action have a hefty weight and cost behind them. Do you deal with the enemy in front of you or the one charging at you from the back? Not to mention healing is as simple as hitting a button, making a simple process, but also an easy one to get greedy with. Your arsenal in the game starts out easy enough with nothing but a plasma cutter, a simple mechanics tool that ends up being your saving grace. However, as the game progresses, you unlock weapons and upgrades at a great pace, bringing them in right as you need them to make the game and situations that much more engrossing. But with more weapons come more management. Inventory management with ammo for the weapons you want, and being picky with the 4 weapons you can equip. Alongside weapons early on, you get 2 major additions which fans of the franchise will recognize. Stasis, a projectile you can shoot out to slow anything in a radius, including enemies and environmental objects, and Kinesis, a telekinetic power that you can use to grab and throw things. Stasis is run off stasis energy, which makes it a limited use item unless you have recharges to spare. However, the choice to make Kinesis not need any power is a wonderful one, where in the most dire of situations when you are out of ammo, you can resort to throwing chairs, metal rods, or even the enemy's own body parts at them to try and survive. Now, the bench is this game's upgrade table, allowing you to upgrade each and every weapon as well as your rig. These upgrades I found to be quite in-depth, and given you will eventually wield a good amount of weapons, you have to be picky with what you spend your valuable nodes on, the upgrade currency in the game. I can see a lot of replayability here with the different weapons and upgrade choices. Now, not only will you upgrade and change your weapons throughout, but also the enemies consistently change from chapter to chapter, and despite a couple repeat characters and mini boss encounters, it has a wonderful variety of monstrosities to always keep you on your toes, whether you're in a dark hallway or a zero-G room. Now, combat weapons aside, this game is truly a horror experience. To the movement of yourself and the enemies, I found this game to be truly horrifying and panic-inducing, much more than the original. As with it being 15 years older than the remake, there are plenty of moments devoid of fear, thanks to the older one's dated sound design, lighting, and gameplay.
I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything.
The story finds you playing as Isaac Clarke, a systems engineer on a team responding to a distress call from his girlfriend, Nicole Brennan, and the ship, the USG Ishimura. Upon arrival, you and your team crash land onto the Ishimura and are soon attacked by zombie-like creatures called necromorphs, and it's here that the story jumps off and takes you on a ride. I don't want to spoil anything with the story, so I'm not going to go too in-depth, and it's for this reason that this review is only using footage from the first couple hours of the game, so nothing late game. But the story is good for what it is and the genre it's in, and for original Dead Space fans, there's a lot of added deeper story context that I found drew me in deeper into the world and characters along the journey. The biggest change from the original to this is giving Isaac Clarke his classic voice that he finds in Dead Space 2 and 3. Hearing Isaac go through this experience with us, his reactions and conversations with other characters really made the story so much better and enticing over its predecessor, which in turn made me care deeper for the supporting cast, as well as feel more engaged and invested with the unfolding plot. The game sets you up as trying to escape the Ishimura and find your missing girlfriend, Nicole Brennan. But what follows is conspiracy, a creepy Scientology-like cult called the Church of Unitology, and plenty of twists and turns that will leave newcomers and Dead Space fans wanting more and more. Going back to the gameplay a little, my main gripe with this game and the original is the final chapter, Chapter 12. It can feel like a bit of a slog as you arrive at the story's climax, because it has you repeating a task and fighting onslaughts of enemies. It's the weakest chapter in the game, and because of this, it takes a bit away from the story's conclusion. But despite this, I would not let that turn you off, as the other 11 chapters are fantastic and masterfully crafted, and they more than make up for the final chapter's shortcoming. Also, this game contains a New Game Plus mode, which does contain a secret ending if you do an Easter egg. Yay for replayability. The game has menu narration, which you can adjust the volume of. However, I don't think it sounds that great, as it comes off muddled and mumbly. It has 4 colorblind settings: Protanopia, Deuteranopia, and Tritanopia. The game has 2 interesting additions. One being an active content warning that will warn you prior to violent and heavy scenes, which I thought was good. It wasn't too intrusive, but still very effective. Then we have the high disturbing scenes option, which I am not a huge fan of. When something the game deems disturbing happens, this giant blurry wall pops up, which in areas can be really jarring and make the gameplay unfun, as well as some things will be blurred whilst other moments will not. I feel like a no gore option would have been much better. It has single press or mash or hold for QTEs, aim toggle or hold, menu motion decrease, which really work, and you can adjust a lot of the settings for subtitles. However, they only have white subtitles or white on black and no yellow. You can turn off motion blur, film grain, and camera shake, which all work well. Dead Space Remake isn't just faithful to the story world, characters, atmosphere, and gameplay to the original, but it doubles down on them, making them far richer by the deeper contextual explorations that take the story, and the greater and thicker the atmosphere, or the more visceral the gameplay and scares. All of this increased dreadful horror and captivating gameplay and story experience just goes to show that Dead Space not only should be alive and well like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, but even contends for the #1 spot of best survival horror game ever created. This game would be a 5 out of 5 for me, however, with the final chapter being sort of a letdown, I'm going to go with a 4.5 out of 5. Tell me your thoughts on the Dead Space Remake down in the comments below, and also check out this video all about survival horror games. And as always, I will see you in the next video.